Well, hello, everybody. Hello, Special Needs Supermoms. I'm so glad. Today I've got a really special guest that helped me as well. It's Janine McDonald from Clear the Clutter Now group. Um, she has a private Facebook group you can join, which I really recommend. But Clear the Clutter, you're like, Special Needs and Clear the Clutter? I don't get it. But I don't know how it was for your special needs kids, but my Wonder Boy and Supergirl both have a lot of trouble with cleaning their room. And besides them being kids and just, hoarders in disguise, there's something more to it because of the special needs. So without further ado, I want to welcome my guest. Hello, Jeanine. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me today.
I'm so glad you're on the show. So can you tell a bit about yourself? Why you're into decluttering?
Yeah, well, in a previous life, I was a bank manager and I was made redundant back in 2014, but then I was struggling with my mental well-being. And it got to the point where there was a little bit of stuff, so probably about 10 items in the corner of a room. And part of my brain was going, it's only going to take 5 minutes. And the other half was going, we're not going to let you move. And it's difficult to explain to people how depression or anxiety can actually physically paralyze you in a way. And then over time it built up to the point where if people were coming round, I'd throw things in the huge supermarket carrier bags and put it in the spare room thinking, I'll sort that out in a minute. But I didn't. So instead of having one bag, I then had 6 or 7 to do. So I actually got some support and some help to get my confidence back because I was going through a marital breakdown at the time as well. And I got 2 young kids. So I managed to clear the spare room because it was a bit like Monica's closet in Friends. You open the door and everything was just there. Oh, yeah. And it's so overwhelming to do that. And I started saying to myself, just 3 things. And that became my mantra everywhere I went, just 3 things. And that was each room I went in, I had to put 3 things away. So 3 things wasn't massive, it was achievable. And as I could see the clutter diminishing a bit, I would then purposely go into one room on the way to another room to pack 3 things away. And then all of a sudden my confidence came back and I managed to blitz that spare room. So as like I said, as my confidence grew back, as I became physically stronger as well, I was struggling to get a job because I'd been made redundant. And it was a case of I had a career, but now I needed school holidays off. I needed to work school hours because I couldn't do the childcare and I couldn't get a job. So I was chatting with my work coach at the job centre and talking about what I enjoyed doing and my journey. And decluttering came because I was enjoying going to friends' houses because they were saying, I just need to sort the kids' books out. And I'd go, come on then, let's do it now. And literally we'd have it done in like 10 minutes. But if you're doing it by yourself, that's probably already been put off for about 3 months.
Oh, at least.
And then when you do get to do it, it's like, what do I do with this one now? Where do I, but we used to like that one. And then it ends up taking an hour. Something that could actually take just 5 or 10 minutes.
We moved country several times and we had boxes, seriously. We packed them in Germany over 16 years ago. And then we moved them to the Netherlands, put it on the attic. We moved to America. We had the same box unpacked, moved it to America. And it was, But then you kind of open it and you're like, overwhelming or emotional. And then you were like, I will just put it away.
Yeah.
But
And that's emotional things are very, very difficult.
yes.
Very difficult. And I just have a chat with people and I find out about the emotion behind it. What special memories has it got? Why are they keeping it? Are they keeping it because they feel obliged to?
Oh, yes.
Because it was special to somebody else? Or are they keeping it because it's special to them, but they don't use it because it's not in a form that's suitable for their lifestyle?
Yeah.
And I'll ask lots of questions just in conversation. They don't need to tell me the answers because they come up with their answers themselves, because at the end of the day, it's your decision of what you want to do. But for one example I give is that, grandma's tea set.
Oh, yes.
When you used to go around to grandma's house and she always used to have like a cup and saucer and she always used to make you a cup of tea in it and you always used to get a little biscuit on the side. But now you've got half of a service because it's got broken over time from grandma and up further down, but you don't use it. It's either in a box or it's the back of a cupboard. So my suggestions are, well, look at it in a different way. Whilst it's in the back of the cupboard, it's on your mind feeling guilty that you're not using it. So could you use it in a different way? Could you make a cake stand out of the dinner plate, the side plate and a saucer? Could you make a bird feeder out of a cup and a saucer, or a candle?
Yeah.
Could you keep one in your cupboard, just one cup and saucer in your cupboard, and every day have one drink out of that cup and saucer?
Yeah, that's how I do it, because I had my great grandmas, there were 4 cups and saucers, and I think they've been in boxes or cupboards for like over 50 years.
Yeah.
And I got them at a certain moment, but they were also in a box and I didn't dare to use them because they're so delicate. And at a certain moment, I have to say, I'm quite known for breaking stuff. At a certain moment, I thought, I can better have fun for as long as it lasts, because, this is just a shame. I don't have a display thing. I don't like a display thing. And the first 2 cups broke the moment I poured something warm in them, because they were like, what's this? But now every morning I have one tiny little cup of coffee in my great grandmother's cup. And it helps me to relax because I'm really careful with it. So I just take my time. But you mentioned, that's an emotional stuff. And then this is, of course, a Special Needs Supermom podcast and Special Needs kids. And it can even be harder for them. For instance, my Wonder Boy, you also already mentioned that some feel guilty, throwing stuff away, or, they're emotionally attached to it. For me, it is Wonder Boy literally, giving emotions to toys. So he feels sad or feels guilty to the toy itself.
Yes.
To throw it away or to give it away. Yes. And for my Supergirl, it's kind of more a lot of stuff she got. She has like 150 mini horses. But there were, things she got not only for her birthday, but every bad hospital visit, every achievement in a hospital, celebrating something when it was good in the hospital. And with
it grows and grows.
So it's especially those things for special needs kids that are hard to give away or throw out. Do you have a tip for, dealing with stuff like that?
When you say about the emotions are given to the toys or to the teddy bears and things like that, those emotions are very, very close to the child giving them. And it's using those emotions to, so say one of them's got an emotion in that this teddy's always sad, for instance, and talk to them about it, and the teddy's feeling sad. So how do you feel? Is that a teddy that you always go to when you're feeling sad? And if it's where there's lots and lots of these things, you could go at it from the angle of, well, this teddy has really helped you in the past. You've got lots and lots of them now. Could this teddy go and help another little boy or girl?
Oh, yeah, that is
And
nice.
give them
Yeah.
the support that Teddy's given you. And they'll keep the same name of that Teddy, you know, and almost sort of like introduce Teddy to,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
to the recipient.
Yeah, yeah. Supergirl kind of does it now. She finally decided, after saying no for quite some time, to give away some of the horses or sell them. But she makes little notes with every horse saying the name she gave the horse, what they like to do, what they like to eat. And it helps them in her way to kind of say goodbye.
Yes.
And prep them for...
because she's sending them on a journey.
Yeah, really, yeah.
And she's, you know, it's a bit like if we meet somebody on holiday, you exchange details, you exchange part of your story. You might not see them again, but you may write to them.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit the same. It's like having a little pen pal, but she's sending the horses away with a little note for the person it's going to. And the amount of pleasure I bet that note has for the person it's going to, it's immeasurable.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'd be so grateful for it. And that's a really good thing. If that's her way, roll with it. And, you know, does she want a special colour paper for it?
Yeah.
And then she associates that paper with, you know, donating something.
Yeah. I think it's really important that, you know, you acknowledge your kids' feelings, even if they're, you know, the other day I was in a room with one boy and he had this little stuffed, you know, this, not a teddy bear, but a, how do you call it? If it's a stuffed monkey, little thingy.
Yeah.
Doesn't do anything with it. And I was like, shall we? And no, because that, well, it was sad, but I said, well, you know, can you imagine being a little kid and you love monkeys? You know, don't brush it off. Give them time to say goodbye. Maybe it takes another week. And we had it with Supergirl. I was trying to persuade her to give away all those stables and the veterinary clinic and all the things she had with all those horses. And she was like, no. And then out of the blue, 2-3 months later, I think I'm ready, Mom. So, you know.
That's it. And sometimes it's just adding on to the end of when you're talking about it, is that, well, have a think about it. Let me know when you're ready.
Yes.
When you're ready to spread that happiness to so many other people.
It is. So another challenge for special needs kids, and now I'm mainly talking about, you know, if you have a kid that is, you know, for instance, autistic.
Yeah.
You know, you tell them, clean up your room. And they're like, clean up my room. One, it's overwhelming because where to start?
Well, it's overwhelming for us.
Well, yeah, it's already overwhelming. And imagine, you know, being autistic. And the second one, I realized way later, I saw chaos. He saw order because his desk, and one of the boys into Legos. He's now 17 years old. Still, he collected Legos, played with Legos since the day he was able to pick them up, really.
Yeah.
So he has tons. He has a wall with little drawers with Legos, and you know, he's the real Lego master builder. But when he was younger, and his whole desk or floor, probably both, would be, you know, filled with Legos, and I would just see chaos and a mess. But for him, sometimes I would just, if he was in school, just clean it all up because I was so done with it. And then he came home and he was like, yeah, but that was the corner for this Lego, and that was the corner for this, and that was my project corner. And
yeah, I was going to say that everything around, as you see the chaos, he would see a production line.
Yes.
of what he wanted to do when. Yeah. And he's probably working on multiple different projects at the same time.
ADHD as well. So, he is constantly doing several things at the same time. Yes. So indeed, now you mention it, working on several things at the same time. Yeah.
So it's a matter of looking at different suggestions for storage. Like say you've got a wall of storage now with the little containers in, but it's involving the child. Do they want to sort it in colour order? Do they prefer to sort it in brick size order?
Yeah.
Or all the people in a separate bit? Because there's some weird shaped Lego now. And there's some the tiniest pieces ever.
Yeah.
That you almost need a pair of tweezers to pick up. Do they go in another drawer? So it's different ways, and it depends on how their mind operates.
Yes.
So it's having that conversation with them, or watching them and see what they do. It's almost like an observation, and just notice whether they're always going for the colours, or are they going for the shape, or do they like it where every kit is together?
Yeah, I remember I knew one boy and he was frantic about it. All had to be, while Wonder Boy is all about, okay, I got a set. How can I make this better now? So
what other pieces can I add to it?
Everything is, but I think it's really important what you just said about observation as well, because if you're thinking, you enter your kid's room and you're like, why is there a pile of shit, excuse my language, there, and while it's there, but if you see them play and you see them move around, you're suddenly like, oh, that's actually, he's building them there, and then they go on an adventure, and then you end up in that room. And what we found with Wonder Boy, and that is still to today, if I tell him clean up your room, he can't.
No.
And even if you say, nowadays I can say everything from your floor, for instance, or get all the bits of paper that are all over here. So it's one specific material. Yes. And I give it one task at a time, because the moment I say, can you do this? Oh, by the way, can you do that? He's like, Mom.
Yeah, no, it's too much. It's too much. So literally one task, and it can be a small task, because if you start with a big one, it's too overwhelming, too confusing. And it's like, well, why do I need to do that? Because I'm using it all.
Yeah, yes.
So if it was a case of, right, we need to put the Lego away, or cars, or something like that, then you could look at the colours. So, right, come on, can you put all the yellow cars away? Yes. And instantly that's reduced the number of cars. Can you put the, when he's done that, or when she's done that, loads of praise.
Yeah.
What about the red cars? Or get them to choose the colour.
Yeah.
You do it a couple of times, and then, oh, what colour's next? And it's like that excitement. You can build up the excitement just by the tone of your voice, to actually encourage them to then start making their own little decisions. And then once you've got a bit of floor space that's clear, it's like, wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Mummy can do a twirl in it.
Well, the funny thing is, I remember when I would clean up, it also brought them peace of mind, because they were like, because suddenly their desk was clean again, and they were like, they got a fresh wind through their mind. I think that's the best description. And from that on, they're on new creativity, new ideas to.
Exactly.
I have the same with, because you can't see it now, but I have an IKEA wall behind me, and it has all these little things, little plastic containers. Yeah. And I can and there's this little, the lid is on the wall, so I can just.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and I love it because it's coordinated. That's there. I can see right away what I need.
Yes.
It's lovely. So if
it's like that with, if children enjoy crafts.
Yes.
Or painting or colouring, how many felt tip pens don't work? But how many do work?
Yeah.
So rather than, let's see how many don't work, let's scribble on this piece of paper And you know, you can play a game with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, right, okay, if they don't work, get a little box or a little basket, put it a little distance away, not too far, and just all the ones that have run out, it's like, oh, who can get it in the basket? And then the child can do it if they get it in. Yay! Mum or dad, missus.
Oh yeah.
Accidentally on purpose, maybe sometimes. And then, but that helps coordination as well.
Yes.
So it's not looking at things as in just tidying up. It's thinking about those additional skills that are coming with it.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're using your fine motor skills, sorting the Lego, sorting the pens, you know, using gross motor skills at throwing.
That actually reminds me. So we celebrate Saint Nicholas in the Netherlands. So that's beginning of December. And it always ends up with, you know, all the paper, we throw it at each other and it's one big mess. Yeah. But in the end, you know, when you have small kids, you have one big box and you end up with try to throw it in a carton box.
Yeah, so you can adapt that to other things as well. You know, as long
really
as
fun thing.
You can tell you can tell when your own kids are getting overwhelmed or it's getting too much for them, because the last thing you want is for them suddenly to turn and start throwing things at you.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, we've got to keep the focus for a short time on that game. And it may be that they come up with the suggestion of, let's move it here, let's move it there. What happens when? So although the decluttering and tidying may take a lot longer, by doing it one specific thing at a time, we'll get them to realize that, yes, actually it is benefiting them and it's benefiting you.
Yeah.
You just need to be in the right frame of mind to do it with them.
Yeah. So don't do it at the end of the day or the end of the week, because as a mom, you're already tired.
You're already frazzled.
Yeah, no, so Christmas is coming in you know, in a few weeks, and then you have all these new toys, and some people are really, you know, good in out with the old, in with the new. Do you have specific tips for that?
I would start long before that and encourage presence rather than presents. So to be present. So if you had friends or family who were in the close area, could they, instead of buying a gift, could they give them a voucher for, say, a trip to the cinema, for instance, or a trip to a centre that they enjoy, or a trip to the zoo? And they know, I mean, that could come with a little tiny animal.
Yeah.
To signify that's the trip to the zoo. So I'm a big advocate of that. And I am with my own kids. My mum has said to them, you know, what would you like for Christmas? And they actually said to them, a day out with you, Nana.
Ah.
And because she'd done a little voucher for them last year for the birthdays. So they remember those days out and they become very, very special.
That's really nice.
So I would start quite a way before Christmas, you know, talking about that with people. However, if you do get lots of gifts coming in, some people will do elf on the shelf, or it may be that you just have a Christmas toy that you have, and you could have a list, a notice next to the toy, saying that, you know, you're lucky enough, you're going to be getting gifts this Christmas, but we need to help out. So can you put in some toys that you don't use anymore that you could help other little boys and girls with?
Yeah, I have to say, especially for Wonder Boy, that that really helps him, you know. Giving away to others, giving back.
So they know it's helping, and then at the end you take them away. So obviously it's up to the parent as to whether to say the elf took them to Father Christmas, or whether you take them with your children to the charity shop it's entirely up to you how to work that. So that is one where things can go out before new things come in. I'd also think about what storage you have and go through it, like you mentioned, the IKEA cabinets before. I have a set of the Kallax ones, and they've got the big material boxes that go in them, which are great. However, they hold so much stuff. So when you're trying to declutter something like that, it's a matter of one at a time.
Yes.
And then seeing what can fit in the cupboards that you have. So it may be a case of emptying a shelf and you going through some of the items, and you know that actually, yeah, they still really love that, still play with it a lot, put it back on the shelf. If you know that they don't do, then you can ask them about it, or it can go without them knowing. However, I do know that some children know where everything is, and they will know exactly which position that book was in, for instance.
Yeah. Yes.
So, in that case, you taking it out and donating it won't work, because they'll get upset because it's not in the order that they need it to be.
Yeah, you disrupted the order then. If there were always 5 books, there need to be 5 books.
Yes. Yeah. So then in which case it would be, right, okay, so can we get a book from somewhere else that they enjoy to go and replace one of the books that's being donated?
It's really cool.
Children love helping children. I think that is a huge thing in getting them to donate things and to pass things on. Let the other children have the enjoyment. How kind is that? We know that if we do something that's kind for somebody, it makes us feel better as well.
Yeah,
even though we're not asking for a great, huge thanks for it. It just has that feel good factor to it, knowing that you put a smile on somebody's face.
Well, thank you for these tips. Do you have another tip you would love to share?
You can fold your carrier bags.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We're laughing now because yes, I took a challenge with Janine. It was really fun and it was so simple, but I would have never ever came up with it myself. So the first day the challenge was, I think, find all the carrier bags and plastic bags in your house.
Bags in the house.
There were people who had like 200, I think.
Yeah.
And I only had like, I think 42, but I don't need 20 big plastic carrier bags that are just sitting there and holding space.
Yes.
And the same with, what was the second day? I think the sock challenge or the underwear
second day was
challenge.
Your underwear drawer.
Yeah. And it's amazing that, you keep socks and things because, they're not broken yet. But if they make you feel like, meh, why would you wear them? If they don't make you happy, why, just donate it to charity or, And I found out, talking about not being able to throw stuff away, I did this challenge with my Wonder Boy. And he never complains about clothing or, that it doesn't fit or whatever. He just, when he was younger, we found out that he wore shoes a size too small for like a year, because he never complained, never. So I asked him, okay, Pepin, we're really going to now sit and go through your drawer. And he said, basically, all those white socks are way too small. And the majority of his socks were the white footers. And if I haven't, sat him down saying, okay, we're going to do this now. Can you tell me? And maybe saying, does it fit? Especially when they're younger. And we found out with Wonder Boy, it doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
But does it feel nice?
Yes.
That was the magic word. And now he says, it doesn't feel nice. actually it doesn't fit him. Great.
Yeah.
Now we can throw it away.
Yeah.
Because the word doesn't fit didn't mean anything to him. He didn't know what that meant. I can still wear them. He was like, if I can wear them, however tidy they are or not comfortable, I can wear them. So it's the same when we once were traveling and we were on the airport and somebody there said, can I harm myself if I put my hand in your backpack? And he said, yes. So all the alarm bells went off. He had to step aside. And what did Wonder Boy mean? Well, there is paper in it. You can get a paper cut. So technically, you can hurt yourself when you put your... So I think when you have an autistic kid and you're cleaning up, or decluttering, it's all about the right words sometimes to help them understand what they have to do. And I think...
Because almost, in effect, the word decluttering, it's a positive, but it's still a play on a negative word.
Yeah.
So as you were saying there with the socks, are they too small or do they fit? That's a bit more of a negative vibe. But do they feel nice? It's positive.
Yes.
So like you say, it's the play on words. So things and and that'll be individual for everybody.
Yeah. So with the upcoming holidays, do you have, I think you already kind of mentioned it in the beginning, because I thought your 3 things rule, enter a room, just put away 3 things, clear up 3 things is great. Do you have a last tip for overwhelmed supermoms with the upcoming holidays? Besides joining your group, by the way, Clear the Clutter Now group, right?
Yes, that's the one. Yeah. I'm actually, I did a live video on our Christmas decorations coming out of the attic, out of the loft, but my kids took over. So it almost became a video on, oh, look at this Christmas decoration, this means this. So I will be doing a session on packing away your Christmas decorations, and that will be use everyday things for storage. Things like an egg box. You can put small Christmas decorations in there, keeps them really safe. They're easy just to pop in, take out again. You're not worrying about wrapping them all up. So save things. For instance, if you get a nice tin of biscuits for Christmas, save the tin. You always generally think, oh, that's really nice, what am I going to use it for? Now you will use it because you'll be thinking, right, okay, so can we put some craft items in there? And then it stacks because it's rectangular.
Yeah.
So it's using those everyday things. And just, if you're overwhelmed, step away. Just take a step away, because it's a busy enough time of year. It's an overwhelming time of year for everybody.
Yeah, I think this is the time.
Just take a deep breath and just 3 things.
Yeah.
And that might even be just taking 3 pieces of wrapping paper out of the lounge.
Yes.
But it's 3 things. And then next time you go out the room, take another 3 things with you.
And maybe that's also a perfect tip for your special needs kid as well, because it's now the 2nd week of December. This is not the time to force them to declutter everything, especially because this is a really stressful time for kids that are easily overwhelmed, that are anxious, that are constantly, how do you call it? There are too many things going on.
Yeah, it's almost a state of high alert, isn't it, all the time?
So probably because of that, they tend to cling to what is known, what is, the old comfortable things. So, but maybe it's just those 3 things. Just start with 3 little things. Well, thank you so much, Janine,
Thank
for being on the
you.
show. She will be on another episode as well.
I won't
will. Yes, I won't tell what yet, but we'll keep that as a surprise. Like I mentioned, you can join Clean the Clutter Now group on Facebook. It's a private group, which is brilliant. Me as an easily overwhelmed supermom as well. Love her tips. And I just started a course of her. And she's probably going to help me declutter my garage because, oh my gosh. But my kids started with her tips. So that's actually
excellent.
Great. And if you have any questions, just reach out to her, join her group, reach out if you have a specific question.
Yeah, just reach out. I'm happy to help anybody. Yeah. If anybody can move forward by just asking one question, then please ask. Please ask.
Well, thank you so much for your time. And
thank you so
see you on the next episode.
Yeah. Thanks very much. Thanks. Bye.